Yo, what's up guys, how's everyone doing? Hope you're all having a fantastic day once again. I'm just gonna go ahead and put my phone on silent because it has been blowing up today. Yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting day, and you guys have seen the title. It's, does this mean Bitcoin is going down with a big $5,000, thumbnail there? Yeah, gibbles and bits. Smash the likes, thank you very much. Moon up those likes, yes. Actually, I think that's, no, I can't say that, sorry, that's Kirby's, phrase. What have I just done? Guilt tripped me into that now. Okay, anyway, we've had a double top on the Bitcoin 1 hour, and there are a lot of people calling this as being a very bearish formation at the moment. I'm going to talk about this at length in today's stream because I think it's very important that I cover this. Please let me know, is the audio, is everything else okay? But, you know, we've had this double top, and, you know, just looking at crypto Twitter, looking at, you know, various different group chats of trading, it seems like everyone and their nan is calling for a pullback on Bitcoin right now. And you know what, it's, okay, first of all, it's still, let's go back, let's zoom out, it's still definitely very possible. Go over to the Coinbase chart. It's, you know, it's very possible that we are in a bull trap. Actually switch to the daily, and of course we are setting lower highs. We've set a high over here 11.6, a lower high 10,000, and now a lower high again, assuming we get rejected, and now we go down to $5,000. We've been setting lower highs, and lows will also become lower as well. So you've been seeing people like Alessio Rastani call for things like good audio. Okay, thank you. Call for things like when we break market structure, which means when we go below 6,000 and we close below, that's when we're actually in a bear market. And so that's all good and fair. But I think, you know, you judge by this trend. Again, we go back to this Bitfinex chart. What it looks like we're in right now, following these futures dates, following the triple bottom, following the ETF news, so many other things we can bring up, just the fundamentals that are incredibly strong, we are in a firm uptrend. There is no denying it. We have been setting higher lows, a low over here, followed by a second low over here, again where we entered in VIP, followed by another low, and we're now making a new low as well. And each of these lows are getting higher and higher. Now what we're also seeing are, of course, higher highs. So we're seeing a high over here, followed by more highs, and you guys know what I mean. These highs get higher, the lows get higher, and so we are in a firm uptrend. Now guys, what we need, alright, because if we compare this growth to what we've had recently, we are not in a sustainable rally right now. If we look at the rule of trends, the rule of angles and different things like that, what you need and what you want to see is typically a 45-degree line of upwards movement if you're in an uptrend. That is, I don't even know if that's 45, but that is what would tell you that we are in a sustainable trend. Now, what have we been seeing? I mean, it's much closer to 80 degrees, you know, something like that. I mean, this, get out your protractor and start measuring this on your on your computer screen. We are not in a sustainable uptrend, and so what we need is stability. But what we're seeing in this crypto space right now, yet again, is a lot of hysteria and over very small moves. And for those of you who don't know, hysteria means, you know, like exaggerated emotion over very small things. And so, you know, we had a bit of a pullback today. You're looking at the 4-hour chart, so each of these candles represent 4 hours of trading. And so we hit a high of 8,490. We got rejected at that 8,500 resistance line, which I said could be a bit of an issue. And we have been going down since then. And suddenly the targets across the whole crypto space are 5,000, 6,000, all this crazy stuff, and that's why I made that the thumbnail. I mean, this is what the sentiment appears to be, that we've now hit the top, we've set our lower high, and we're now going to break down, break market structure, and really get sent down to the pits of hell, basically. Ridiculous in my opinion. You know, guys, the reason for this is very simple, and I don't know why no one's talking about it well, I don't follow other people, but I haven't heard it from anyone else. You know, and the reason for this mass hysteria over very small moves, it's very simple. I've lost my notes. I'm going to find it in 1 second. Yes, that's it. Okay, so the crypto community throughout 2018. Now, most of the people here have been around since 2018 started. So since January, since February. Most of, and there are a few people who joined, you know, within the last couple months. So May, March, April, and these kinds of months. Lucky you, you've missed out on the majority of the losses. But most of us haven't had that privilege, and we've just held on and endured losses. I mean, on the whole, the market has endured a loss of about 70 to 90%, depending on which shitcoins you bought into at the top. So really not a healthy time, not a healthy 8 months, you know, since Bitcoin's all-time high. And so the result of all of this is we've seen people become very sensitive to very small movements. We're having the disbelief that every time we go down, now it's going to mean that we're going to return to being bad. We're going to return to a very firm downtrend. And all of the good reasons for why Bitcoin is going to be bullish have been exhausted. And you know, the thing is here, I mean, CNBC made Alessio brought this up, you know, how one of the analysts at CNBC brought up 3 bullish factors that were just as valid 5 months ago as they were today. And the interviewer asked this analyst, well, these factors were valid before, and we're talking about ETFs, we're talking about various other bullish fundamentals for Bitcoin. So why is it affecting the market now? And guys, the difference is sellers have been exhausted. That's why we're seeing a rally right now. That's why we're actually finally seeing the fundamentals bring Bitcoin higher. It's helping Bitcoin raise itself back to what you could call the true price. Of course, the true price of Bitcoin, in my opinion, is whatever price Bitcoin is trading at right now. People will say things like Bitcoin doesn't have any true price. People will say things like Bitcoin has a $1 million true price. It's all wrong from where I'm seeing things. The only true price for Bitcoin is the price it's traded at the current moment. There is nothing else to it. But we've had all of these losses, and so it's at these very small, I mean, let's measure this actually and really put into perspective how ridiculous this panic is. So we've had, it's a 5% drop. And how high have we gone? You know, since our lowest, since our most recent low, we've gone up 38. This is ridiculous. We've gone up 38%, and a 5% retracement is resulting in people calling for levels like 5,000. This is ridiculous, and it's so clear. It's, you know, I made like a mini essay about this in Telegram, guys. The link is in the description to join my free Telegram group. And you know what I said is that we've had this emotional elasticity. You know, everyone's emotionally rubber banding between being very bullish and then very bearish, just based on very small time frames, because they've become so sensitive to this market now. But we want to lean bearish. We've been like that for 8 months. This is how we've been made to cope with the market, and so it's just at times like this where the market is gonna fuck with you the most and tell you that actually we're going up. It's the same delusion we had when we were in a bull market. You know, every time we went up about 10%, suddenly the next target was 5,000, 10,000, 20, 50, 100,000. And obviously that's a delusion that we're seeing in the opposite way this time around. Guys, today what we're seeing just looks like a falling wedge to me. It looks like another typical continuation pattern. We've had double tops with Bitcoin that look like this many times throughout this trend. For example, we look at this one over here, and if I were to replay this chart, this is actually a double top that I called as potentially being problematic. Although, like I said at the time, it's not going to influence my trading decision. I'm just going to wait to see what happens. And so obviously, if we go back to what the chart looks like now, we've seen yet again the exact same thing. And so what I did post is that I am looking to see how these EMA ribbons actually react to the chart, and what we are seeing potentially, hopefully even, is a fall down to old resistance turning support. So we fall down to a level perhaps a little bit like this, and by that time, of course, judging by where the EMA ribbon is now, if I were to draw out these lines, which I know I can't do, but I'll try anyway. I told you I can't do it. So, you know, the lines would look something like this, and by then that would also mean we would fall into the EMA ribbon as support. And since we are forming a continuation pattern, we're probably going to go up and follow a pattern a bit more like this going forward, and, you know, potentially see the next resistance level, which is $9,200, right where this. Sorry about that. That's super annoying. Okay, I'm really gonna make sure this stops happening. Anyway. We're going to fall into old resistance turning support, and Okay, I get it. I'm sorry, I do this all the time. I really should have remapped it. Let me set a reminder to do that right now, actually. Hold on, because this is more important than this stream. I'm sorry. Set a reminder to remove hotkeys. Okay, got it. Cool, thank you. Report unsubbed. So we're going to see a fall, hopefully, for prices going down to old resistance turning support. And guys, bear in mind, you know, this drop is going to be like an extra $200-300, but like I just said, we've seen all of this hysteria over very small price movements. And so going down $300 from 84 to 81, we're already super bearish, and it's the end of the bloody world now. And so going down another $300 down to 78, 7700 is also going to be very problematic for sentiment. All I can say is I went through this myself, and eventually you will get tired of it. You will decide to quit and leave, go back to your regular life, or you'll decide to adapt and understand how these markets work truly now. The comments have completely stopped on my end, so I think I might have lost connection or something like that. But this is where I'm thinking the market is going to go. Now, again, like I said, the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud has not been a reliable indicator, and the reason I'm going to bring this up today is because what you want to look for are reliable indicators. And so you look for indicators that have been reliable in the past, and you use them to determine future price movements. And it's at certain times, certain indicators will be very reliable. So previously, we had the 4-hour Ichi being very reliable. It predicted when we would go down. Every time we hit this cloud, we got a rejection, and eventually we did break up. And then we used this Ichi cloud as a support level, as a launch pad to send us up. Again, all of these things were called within the Telegram channels and even in these live streams as well. So, the difference here now, actually, so wasn't the right word to use, but the difference we're seeing now here is that the Ichi cloud is so far away, and it's so low. I don't think we're going to return to levels like 7,300 to 7,500. That is the previous range we were trading in. I don't think we're going to retrace that far. I do think it's fairly unlikely, but of course, as it goes on, as the trend evolves, I'm going to look at what the market is telling me and readjust my stance. You have to be able to constantly change up how you view the markets in order to form sound opinions of what we're looking at. And so this is the approach I've taken, and as a result, the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud is not reliable. And again, the reason I brought this up is because you want to look for more reliable indicators when other ones aren't reliable anymore. And so that is why I am looking so much at the 4-hour EMA ribbon. If we look at it historically with its performance, it's been extremely accurate. Only time it fails is when it predicts, or rather, only times it fails is when there's a reversal in the trend. But right now, it doesn't look like we're having a reversal in the trend, because, as you guys know, reversal patterns are just where the Bitcoin's price, or any price of a stock or whatever, fights the trend a little bit for a short space of time, and then it continues. And of course, one of the most common signs of a reversal pattern, or rather a continuation pattern, is volume dropping off. So we can actually check that out here on the daily. We have seen volume taper off. Of course, there are still like 5 hours left in this candle to go, and so volume will pick up and probably close a little bit close to where it was yesterday. And of course, on the note of volume, I'm not sure if I posted it in gold, but in VIP I did definitely give that post that volume has not been good in the market right now. I mean, we were up to 20 billion, we went up to 22 and 21 and even 22 last night, but we're now down to $17.6 billion. And you see, the issue with this is we're still in good territory. Like I said, 15 is good, 20 is great. We're still in the good territory. The issue with this, though, is that the higher we go, the more volume we need to see. So we need to see higher highs with the volume, we need to see higher lows with the volume. And right now, we're not seeing either of those things. We're basically going sideways as we go up. And so that is not a good sign. We do need to see volume confirming our trend. And at the moment, it is not doing that. It's not showing us strength as we climb higher. And so this is something that concerns me. And of course, volume is the most important indicator out of everything, save for obviously price and time. So this is something that is concerning. Now, with the rest of the market, we have seen Bitcoin dominance drop a little bit by about 0.3%. Market cap overall only dropped by like $2 billion, so really nothing at all. Again, it really puts into perspective how ridiculous it is to panic over these moves. But, the rest of the market has been sideways for the most part. A couple exceptions. Zilliqa, for example, a good alt pick. Digibyte down 10%. The Psychic coin, it's been a lot of sideways movement. Some coins doing well, others doing bad. On the whole, a sideways market for the past 24 hours, and it doesn't really matter what the alt market is going to do at the moment. The bias is still with Bitcoin, because we have had Bitcoin pause in its trend, and so typically what we saw when this happens is that Bitcoin will pause in its trend and then alts will rally. However, we only saw Bitcoin dominance drop by 0.3% overnight, and on the whole, alts didn't really rally at all. Like I said, there are some exceptions to IOST, for example. There are some exceptions to this rule, I guess you could call it. But on the whole, we are still seeing the strength side with Bitcoin, and so alts still do not look like a good pick as far as I'm looking at the charts right now. With that, though, I think I have gone through all of my analysis for this stream. So if you guys do have any questions, please do drop them down here in the comments. I have gone through everything. I just want to reiterate one more time, guys, if we can smash those likes real quick before I do carry on. The very important thing to note here is that the market has become very sensitive over these movements. So if we are in the disbelief rally, and I think there is a good possibility that we are, it makes sense that at every $50 move even, there is panic. And it's so ridiculous, and but it does make sense, because it's been 8 months of a downtrend, 8 months since Bitcoin's all-time high. I was looking at the Coinbase 1-year chart, and it really did put it into perspective for me, because I remember when I joined this space in May 2017, all I saw on the Coinbase chart was a chart that looked like a bubble. At the time, I didn't know it, but it looked like a bubble. Let me just show it to you. Pictures are worth 1,000 words, as you know, and so the chart looked a lot more like this, right? That's much better if I replay it. The yearly chart that I saw on Coinbase always looked like this, and so any point you could call could have been the top of this bubble. It does make sense that 20k was the top of this bubble, just given that it is a round number and it's bloody huge, but this is a chart we've been used to seeing. Now, not the case. We literally have had 8 months of a downtrend, and I've never seen it, with Bitcoin. It's new to me, and I'm sure it's new to many of the other viewers here as well, with only a few exceptions. And so, it's difficult. It's difficult, psychologically, and in a market like this, you have two options. You either, continue to take your losses, or you learn from it and profit from it. Like I said a couple streams ago, you can make money when prices are going down. That is why prices go down. First of all, people are taking profit, but second of all, people are also shorting stocks, shorting Bitcoin. When the futures came in, what happened? They shorted it right away. They shorted it straight away. Let's just bring up this chart again, actually, to make it abundantly obvious. This blue line is when SIBO futures started, and literally right away they shorted it. And shorting is also how you make money. So if you guys don't know about that, go ahead and search up BitMEX 4Flies in the YouTube search bar, and you can find my tutorial on it. And you'll find out how you can make money in a downtrend. Like I said, I've made huge profits, doubling my investment in less than a day, shorting, just because it works extremely well if you stick to good risk management practices. You can use big numbers and make big gains. I just wanted to share this with you. One of the comments I got, I can't remember when, it was like yesterday or something. Hey man, just wanted to say great signal yesterday. I'm blown away. I've been in this market on my own since February and not a single dollar of profit. Of course, that's expected, because since February it's been a very bloody market. 3 days in your VIP and I've doubled my initial investment. Insane. Thank you. And it's like I mentioned a couple streams ago, it's the difference between when you have guidance from experienced traders. They've gone through it all. So of course I've gone through the period of having months of no profits, and I've overcome it now. I've been able to do that, thankfully. So it's all about who you surround yourself with. Like I said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Bloody huge, yeah. So I am ready to go through your questions now. Can we talk some shit on bcash for a little bit? I would love to do DMR, but I'm practicing keeping positivity in my life now. funny enough. Now, I mean, I just don't have the energy to talk about bcash. I don't really care about it. We're still over the 100 EMA. I mean, yeah, we're doing pretty well in terms of EMAs. I don't know what chart you're talking about. Maybe you mean the daily, but we turn on these alpha indicators, and we are encountering some serious resistance. Of course, this Ichi cloud still is concerning me a lot. We have been rejected by this MA200 as well. So we've got bullish crossovers, we've got many bullish signs, bullish volume picking up as we increase in price, so this is a confirmation of a trend. But nonetheless, we've got this massive Ichi cloud, and I had a question today, why do you give so much weight to the Ichi cloud? It was either today or yesterday, and my answer to that was Bitcoin has respected this Ichi cloud when it was a green cloud all the time, throughout 2017, throughout this trend. Every time it dropped into this green support cloud, it bounced up, and within this downtrend, every time it hit the resistance, it went down. And so we are exactly, we're seeing exactly the same thing today. And so yes, there is concern, and there is a reason, a very good reason at that, to call for levels like $5,000 now. My only issue with it is that people aren't calling for targets like 5,000 because of valid metrics like this, because of a valid indicator like this, which has predicted us going down. They're actually calling $5,000 just because we dropped down by 300. So it's a mentality that needs to be shaken out as soon as possible. Farshad, draw Fibonacci time from the bottom of this bull move to its top. You'll predict the time for the next move. Yeah, Farshad, very good thing to bring up. And actually, someone did share with me the chart about this today. We did retrace. I'm looking at the wrong thing, I think. Let's go over to the 4-hour. Turn off these indicators. We hit like a 50% retracement on one of these Fibonacci's. I think it may be this one. Check that out. I mean, either way, you guys have seen how reliable this Fibonacci retracement line is. Okay, so we nearly hit 0.382. Let's check it out from the bottom of this bull move, which is, of course, the most important one. And yeah, I mean, we still have a long way to retrace. So 0.5 would make sense if we hit this 73 to 7,500 level. But like I said, I don't think we're going to do it. I don't think we're going to go that low, just given that there is a lot of FOMO in the market. The second one of the big players maybe comes along and buys the order book for even $50 or something, it is going to start the FOMO train again, and we will probably see prices driving much higher. And $8,000, we've cleared 8,200 resistance, we've cleared 84, 85 is a very light resistance which we got rejected from. There's really no resistance in the $8,000 range, and so it is going to be very easy to climb back above $8,000. There have been targets, there have been signals and calls of people like Donald on Twitter calling for things like we're going to hit $9,000 to $11,000, and then we'll retrace to about 4,500. Definitely very possible. We will have to continue to watch this market and see how it plays out by the day. Obviously, you guys know I don't predict the long-term trend. I just look at what's going to happen, within the next day, the next couple of days at most. And the reason for that is because it's what works for me. It's what gives me the 2x profits in 24 hours. So I'm very happy to stick to a trading style much like that. Are you going long around 7,800? I will not answer that because there was a signal about that in VIP. But maybe that does give you your answer. 8,000 support very likely. Elia, I don't think 8,000 support is is a very important support zone, in my opinion. I don't think it's I don't think it's a big deal. Let's check out the rest of what we've got. I mean, a lot of alt requests. I'm not going to look at altcoins. They're still not viable. I think you may have missed that. Listening through your headphones, not watching. Please be more technical instead of saying here or there. Okay, Tariq, I will try if I can keep that in my mind. Full Flies, I read about Elliott waves. Apparently, the two consolidation waves alternate in angle. When first is flat, second will be sharp decline. If first is sharp decline, then second will be flat. I haven't heard of that. I think I should... in my research of the Elliott waves, I haven't heard of that. Maybe I misunderstood you. Yeah, well, I'll have to look at that a little bit more. 7,500 will have better psychological support. It is even a 1k drop. Yeah, very true. That would have better psychological support. And of course, if we do look at the VPVR indicator, I believe that's where it tells us we're going to end up as well. So let's actually check that out and see what that's telling us today. My chart is just... Yeah, so 7,500 is the next area where we have a lot of trading activity. And so it would make sense that we end up falling over here and then find our support and go higher. So we will have to see how this plays out. What I am looking at much more so than the VPVR indicator is the 4-hour EMA ribbon, because it has been more reliable than these indicators, especially since we are in an established uptrend. I do think the best case scenario here would actually be that we potentially continue going sideways a little bit, we hit this EMA ribbon, and we form this bull flag over the course of a couple days. So, we did a week last time, 5 days last time. It would be cool if we did potentially another 5 days or something like that. Go on, for a period of, let me actually draw this as a rectangle. Potentially continue our trend and form a bull flag potentially that looks a little bit like this. And by then, of course, the 4-hour EMA ribbon would have caught up with us, and it would provide us some support, maybe some sort of a launch pad to go much higher. And I do think that is going to be the best case scenario. It is going to mean that we don't have to follow these Fibonacci retracement lines as well. Again, more alt picks. Guys, why are you going to look at alts in this market? Like I said, now is the time to invest in them. Invest, not trade. It's time to invest in them. And dollar cost average if you believe in the alts. But, as you guys know, my stance on alts is very negative, especially given that, the profits you can make trading Bitcoin on leverage make these alts look like paper toys or whatever. It's pathetic. So if you're going to trade alts, I don't think there's any point. If you're going to invest in them, there's no point looking at the charts. You just look at the price and you look at how low they've gone. Yeah, so Daniel bringing up the 1-hour chart. So we've also had the 1 hour respecting our EMA ribbon. Not so much right now. It looks like we will fall through. The 1 hour EMA ribbon has been reliable in some cases, but not very reliable on the whole. So it might not work as well in this trend. Let's check out the Bollinger Bands, though, as you mentioned. So, the Bollinger Bands, in my opinion, have not been a reliable indicator. That's why I don't have them on by default. And the reason for it is you're going to hit the top of the channel. Okay, it was right in predicting it here. But say we replay the chart and we looked at something like this. Again, we've got the Bollinger Band. We've got the price hitting the top of this Bollinger Band. And we should have gone down according to this, but we didn't. And so, this is on the 1 hour, bear in mind. So, we switch to something like the daily, and it is going to make a lot more sense. But even then, we keep on dropping lower, even though it tells us we shouldn't. And it only works at the final reversal points. So, Bollinger Bands have not been a reliable indicator for me, personally. Maybe I'm not using them right. You might want to, expand on that a little bit. Again, more questions about alts. I don't get it. You guys are not listening to me. What is the difference between different futures on BitMEX? I don't know. Did you know my stance is all alts are shitcoins? Pretty much, with a couple of exceptions. Yeah, they pretty much are all shitcoins. When are you starting alt signals? When they look good to trade. Had I started before, you would have been in a loss. So I'm not about that loss life. Thank you. Your thoughts on the daily tweezer tops, sign up a reversal usually. Maxime, I did go over that at the beginning of this stream. We did have that double top formation. Do you think this pullback has anything to do with the CME futures expiring next week? Cam Mason, we are hardly in a pullback. Like I said, it's only $300, so this is a continuation pattern of the trend. So no, I think this has nothing to do with CME. That's still a week away, and a week is a very long time in crypto. A week ago we were $1,000 lower. $500 lower. So Bollinger Bands are good for day trade. Yeah, potentially. Not so much for the stuff that we do, I think. Will I trade alts on BitMEX? Potentially. It depends if I can learn them as well as I know Bitcoin. I will, of course, trade the alts as well. yeah, I think with that, I have gone over everything I wanted to. If you guys do have any last, final questions, please do drop them here. But of course, guys, while we are doing that, make sure you smash up those likes. Of course, if you're not already in the Telegram channel, the link is in the description for that. And of course, to join VIP, you can follow the instructions just below that link. That is the only way to join VIP. Anyone else contacting you, emailing you, whatever, it is a scam. There are many impersonators. I emailed one of the impersonators. I was like, you can't achieve financial independence by impersonating someone. And, hopefully that gives them something to think of. Because things like these impersonators and these scammers, I feel for them. Because they're obviously in a very desperate situation. People who, for example, steal wallets and stuff, right? You're stealing like £20, £100, and you want to steal for that? I mean, they're going to be in a very, very sticky situation. So I do feel sorry for them. And of course, I do believe in reconciliation. I do believe in, for example, like the Swedish prison system, which is all about rehabilitation. It's not about punishment. And so that's how I'm treating these people impersonating me and trying to scam other people. Just giving them some food for thought. Like I said, name me one person who achieved financial independence by impersonating someone else. Just think about it. So, hopefully that can make a change with them, because, like I said, I do feel for them, and everyone can change. Is there videos of the basics of margin trading on BitMEX? Yeah, there is. Go ahead and search up 4Flies BitMEX in the search bar, and you will be able to find that. I think I should just leave it in the description, judging by how many questions I get of it. More alt questions? This is ridiculous. Jesse, VIP is awesome. Thank you very much. When Bitcoin pops and alt surge, trade ETH Bitcoin for massive gains. Yeah, that could be a nice one to trade. What else have we got? Yeah, and guys, just to clarify my stance right now, I think we are actually forming yet another bullish continuation pattern. So we haven't shown signs of a reversal yet. What I want to see is what the volume looks like tomorrow. I would not be surprised if we potentially even find support within this 4-hour EMA ribbon and then we bounce up. But my targets at the moment are not levels like 5,000. I'm not even thinking we're going to go below 7,000, for example. But I'm also not saying that we've completed our bubble pop cycle. I'm just presenting that information to you, and that you work it out on your own if you think we have reached those levels that we want to be at. Four-Fives, that guy from Catch Me If You Can movie, impersonator, did go to jail, but eventually earned millions working for FBI fraud department. Okay, well, I didn't work. Sorry, I didn't watch that movie. I'm guessing that's just like what's the word? An exception to the rule, where an impersonator made a lot of money. You see, the deal with this is that guy, he probably did it really well. Like he was probably a very smart person who just decided to go the illegal way. Like we look at someone like Pablo Escobar, he wasn't an idiot. He made a lot of money and he ran his business well, albeit illegally. But these impersonators, they are idiots. That's the difference between my impersonators and the guy you probably mentioned in Catch Me If You Can. The same thing will happen as when the futures were introduced. When and if the ETF gets introduced, Bitcoin will surge, alts will suffer. When Bitcoin is pumped enough, the money will be distributed to alts. Yeah, Rex Minchula, this is what I've been saying for a very long time. The common market plays that we've been seeing is that Bitcoin will go up, alts will lose value, and then the money from Bitcoin will be spread across the alt market. And because alts have significantly less liquidity, they have significantly thinner order books, the money going from Bitcoin being huge money, it's going to spread out into smaller money, but when it does go into alts, it's going to completely pump them up. So, yes, I do think that is what's going to happen. But guys, with that, on that note, I am going to be going off from this stream and getting back to reading some books. I've actually finally began reading books again after a very long break, so I am excited to get back into that. But yeah, guys, with that, I am going to be signing off. I really hope you have enjoyed this stream. If you have, make sure you smash up those likes, subscribe, tick the bell, join the Telegram channel. It is completely free to join Gold, and of course, a lot of people still making huge money from that. But with that, guys, yeah, I am out. Peace.